Welcome to Tracy Aaron Talks, where functional medicine meets personal development. You want to be living your best life, but the overwhelming amount of health information out there is confusing, and the way you think about yourself is keeping you stuck. You know you are meant for more. As a women's health specialist, my aim is to simplify and equip you with the tools you need to be beautifully balanced from the inside out. Welcome back to Tracy Aaron Talks. Today we are taking an inside look in the balanced hormone solution. This is a 90-day program that is targeted at the root cause of hormone dysfunction. So I want to take you from the starting point all the way to the ending point with a really clear overview and understanding of just exactly what we do inside of the balanced hormone solution. I want to touch on the milestones that we hit in month 1, month 2, month 3, so that you can get a really good idea of what the path of transformation looks like for my clients inside the balanced hormone solution. So let's go. Most women who come to me, they are in a similar spot. They realize that they're not where they want to be. They have low energy, fatigue throughout the day, no matter if they got a good night's sleep or not. They struggle with mood swings, possibly headaches, or food sensitivity issues that give them pain when they eat certain foods. Lots of period problems, too long, too short, too much bleeding, too light bleeding, terrible cramps, all kinds of issues there. Weight gain, very, very common, and just that roller coaster of emotions throughout the month. And here's the thing that sets my clients apart is that they know that they were meant for more. So even though that's what their daily experience is like, they don't want it anymore. And they, in a sense, are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're fed up with the way that they feel on a daily basis and recognize that in order to feel different, they need to be different. And that's where I come in. So that's exactly what the balanced hormone solution aims to do, is address this particular starting point so that my clients can walk along this path following the beautifully balanced method and get to the other side, which ends up looking like this. Waking up and feeling energetic and ready for the day, enjoying their life every single day. My clients say at the end, they are no longer controlled by things like the low energy or the mood swings or even that hormonal rage that used to dominate them at certain weeks of the month. And best thing, they understand what their body's going through and they understand what normal fluctuations are and how to deal with them. So they get this high level partnership with themselves so that they become in tune with what's going on. And now they are equipped as their best advocate to achieve the results that they want because they now know what's happening and what to do about it. Ultimately, my clients say at the end that they are thriving and that their life feels vibrant. And honestly, as a health practitioner, there is nothing that I would rather do than to help women go from that starting point of feeling confused and overwhelmed and tired and having mood swings and just taken out of life by the overwhelming amount and severity of symptoms to the place where they are now in the game, where they're enjoying their life and feeling energetic and vibrant again. So there is so much to life. And I'll tell you from my own past experience, and you can go back to the first 3 episodes of this podcast and follow my story, what my exact path was like when I was chronically ill. But it literally was a very confusing time in my life. And it diverted so much of my attention that I wanted to give to having babies, raising babies, homeschooling children, being a homemaker and a wife, my very favorite jobs. It took so much energy away from the things I wanted to be doing and focusing on. And it made me turn inward and it made me hyper focused on all the things that were happening in my body, in my mind. And it's very easy then to become obsessive about your own symptoms and why you feel the way that you feel every day, which contributes ultimately to the sense of just feeling trapped. Like, I wonder if this is the rest of my life. Am I ever going to feel better? And so I totally get what it's like to wake up every single morning and feel like, ugh, I have to deal with this again. And what's worse, there's no end in sight. I have no idea how I'll ever experience the life that I thought I was going to live, that I was living, or that I want to live. So I am familiar with this type of thing when your symptoms just become so overwhelming. It's all you can think about. And I don't want any woman to be there. I want you to wake up and focus on the things that you have before you and think about all the amazing things about being alive, not to be bogged down by all of your symptoms. So, taking a woman from that starting point where things are just confusing and even scary to that ending point where they now feel like they're in control of their health, they understand what's going on, and they have cleaned up their terrain so much so that they just feel amazing. It's just, wow, what a privilege. And I'm just really excited to be able to do this. So, let's talk about a high level view of my methodology. Um, we're just going to go real high level here, bird's eye view. So, the root cause of illness in the body are a combination of these things, which I have adapted into the four pillars of my program. The first one being our thoughts, the way we see ourselves, or another way to say that would be our self image. Um, Another root cause of illness is the HPA axis dysfunction. This is one of the most important feedback loops in our body. It starts in our brain, it goes down to our adrenal glands and circles back. And if there's any kind of glitch in this feedback system, then we have a downstream effect of all kinds of dysfunction. Top of that list is hormones. So, this is absolutely a root cause. Another way to say this would be stress in the body. So, um, the last thing there is toxicity. Toxicity is also a root cause to how we get hormone dysfunction and illness inside the body. So, I knew that in order to create lasting, sustainable results in women in terms of balancing their hormones, that I was going to have to tackle things like our thoughts, that HPA axis dysfunction, and toxicity. And the way that I chose to do that is through functional medicine and personalized protocols. So those are my four pillars. We'll start at the beginning. The first pillar of the program is functional testing and personalized protocol because everybody is just a little bit different or a lot different. And people need to be treated as individuals. So we can use the same test on a group of women and get a whole bunch of different results. And the way to balance hormones and moderate symptoms in people and help them recover over things like digestive disorders and autoimmune might look different for every single person. So we need to be treated as individuals and looked at as a study of plus one or N1, meaning that there is just one person in the sample and everything that is unique to you is, like they say, the cure is in the cause. Everything that is unique to you that got you here is what's going to help you get out of that. And so I really, really believe in functional medicine testing and personalized protocol. I don't know that we can get the results without it. So that is why it's pillar number one. Pillar number two is that transformational thinking. That's what I like to refer to it as. Mindset is a very common way to look at that. And that is just the way that we view ourselves. Believe it or not, the way we think about ourselves contributes to how stuck we are in our lives. And so I have, through all of my experience and through my own personal experience, plus all of my research, come to understand that true healing needs to also address the mindset that we have about ourselves. So if we ignore this and leave this behind, we are leaving a ton on the table in terms of our best lives. So this is something that absolutely must be addressed. Number three, the third pillar is that lifestyle medicine. And that's because our results that we have in our life right now, right? The way we think about ourselves, how much we weigh, the diet that we eat, how much we move our bodies, the symptom picture that we experience every single day is a result of what happened today, yesterday, the last week, last month, last year. The results that we have in our life are a culmination of all of the actions and beliefs that we have participated in, chosen, etc., all previous days. So, what does that mean? If you're in a place that you don't want to be, if you want that new you, or you're feeling that energy and enjoying your life every single day, you're going to have to do something different in order to get there, right? If you do the same thing, what can you expect? The same results. So, lifestyle medicine has to be at the basis of everything that we do within the balanced hormone solution, because we need to do different things if we want to get different results. That last thing that really touches on that root cause is detoxification. So that's pillar number 4. Detoxification is essential to balancing our hormones. And that is because our liver is key to our hormones. And if it's all gunked up based on the food that we eat, the chemicals that we come in contact with, the water that we drink, etc., the air that we breathe, then we will have a harder time getting to that end result where we feel great, because our liver is working overtime and it's being diverted. Its energy and its focus is being diverted in detoxifying constantly, rather than utilizing all of its nutrients and energy, etc., to contribute to our vibrant life. So we need to help our livers out, and also on a mitochondrial cellular level, work to detoxify the entire body so that we can um, empty our toxin bucket and get to the other side where our hormones are balanced and working properly. So these 4 things I had to really think about. Okay, if we're going to get from A to B, if we're on this road trip and we need a roadmap, what is it going to take to get from here to there? And I knew that there could not be a program that was aimed at balancing hormones if it did not address these 4 things specifically. So that is what these 4 pillars is what the balanced hormone solution really leans upon. So let's talk about each one more specifically. And let me also just say, going back to that high level view of methodology, is that if we can effectively address some of these root causes, or like these upstream issues, then the hormones will become balanced, because hormones are actually a downstream issue. So a lot of people want to just run to the issues with estrogen and progesterone. Those are the sexy ones. That's what we hear about. Those are the headlines. Those are the ones that you'll talk about if you pursue a doctor in conventional medicine. But what about the other hormones that come first? And that's where I'm talking about a root cause approach, as opposed to just addressing the outward expression or that downstream symptom picture. We have to look inside, and we have to look deeper, or upstream, sticking with that analogy, so that we can address things at the root cause. So let's dive into what this actually looks like. So first, we start with this prep phase. And what does that prep phase look like? The prep phase looks like there's some things we need to get done and some ducks we need to get in a row before we get started on month 1. So once you join the program, I send you a welcome box. The welcome box has all the supplements that you're going to need for the entire 90 days. And it also includes your Dutch Complete test. I love the Dutch test. The Dutch test, part of the name DUTCH, the DU stands for dried urine. And it's a test that you can do at home, right in the privacy of your own bathroom. And what you end up doing is catching urine in a stream onto the papers. You let it dry. That's the dried urine part. You fold it up and you send it right back in. And within 7 to 10 days, I get your results back. And we get a multi-page report that shows us exactly where your hormones are, what they're doing, and exactly what your starting point is. Because In order to get where you want to go, we need to know where you are now. So that is that functional testing and personalized protocol. It all happens in that prep phase because I need to know where you're starting from. I want to know, do you have enough progesterone? Is your estrogen detoxing from your body clearly? Is it is it flowing out the proper protective pathways, or is it being recycled and used in your body in a way that can be contributing to things like DNA damage, etc. So we also get a small gut panel on this test, which is very insightful, helps us to get a glimpse into how your gut health is doing, which also is foundational to hormone balancing. And we get a good look at what your thyroid is doing and the cortisol curve or the diurnal rhythm. A word that you might be more familiar with is circadian rhythm. If your hormones are working in a way that is with the daytime nighttime cycle so that you're producing the proper amounts of cortisol during the day and the proper amounts of melatonin at night. So this affects your energy levels, your sleep, your restoration, your healing, etc., all these things. So in that prep phase, you get that welcome box, you get all your supplements, you get gratitude journal, you get some extra lovely things from me, and you get some basic vitamins that I start everybody on. There is not a woman that I have met in my practice who is not low on things like vitamin D, omegas, and B complex. In fact, if the balanced hormone solution is not something you ever see yourself pursuing, I recommend that you get on at least a good vitamin D, an omega supplement, and a B complex that is essential to energy production, also helps with detoxification, but hormone balancing in general. So we start with that daily 3 because most women are deficient in that. And I want to build you up before we begin to detoxify. So in that prep phase, it tends to be a little bit of a waiting game because that Dutch test can only be taken between days 19 and 22. So depending on where you are in the cycle, you might wait a couple days all the way to a couple weeks before that test is completed on the proper days, mailed in, and I get results back. But have no fear, there is so much work to be done before we get to that downstream issue anyway. We just go ahead and jump into month 1 automatically because there are things that we need to do that are further upstream or more root cause. And in month 1, we start with insulin. So we deal with blood sugar balancing like we mean it. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have any blood sugar problems. I'm fine." And I'm like, well, how do you know that? Have you tested your blood sugar? Can you show me on paper that you actually don't have blood sugar issues? Because these are types of things that some women feel and some women don't feel. It's a little bit like a food sensitivity. So a food allergy, you may have these or you have heard of them at least, where you get an immediate reaction when you are around or you consume that food. That is a severe food allergy. But what if you have a food sensitivity to something? Let's say you eat a food and it's not for 3 or 4 days later that you actually get a symptom from it. Well, how will you ever know which food exactly caused your brain fog or causes all your joint pain or your fatigue or your poor sleep at night, etc.? So that's where food sensitivities can come in and they can help pinpoint that. So similarly, blood sugar, some reactions are delayed. And unless you know and you see up front what's happening inside your body when you eat certain foods, when you experience certain stressors, when you sleep well during the night, when you don't sleep well during the night, then and only then can you know what the metabolic hormone of insulin is doing inside your body. So just completely avoid anybody who ever says they can balance your hormones without first addressing insulin. This absolutely has to be the first place that we start. Then, once we know where we are, we do a really thorough assessment on where your diet is. What are you eating right now? And what foods are you consuming? How often are you consuming them? Also, in conjunction, how is that affecting your blood sugar? Then we begin to shift our diets. We shift our nutrition so that we're prioritizing protein and whole foods. And there's a couple different diet options within my program that people can choose from with everything laid out for them so that if they have a goal of weight loss, everything they need is there. If they don't need to lose any weight and they actually have trouble maintaining their weight, great. I've got all that. If women need to gain weight, actually, I've got their backs too. So no matter what, we are prioritizing priority. We are prioritizing protein. We are prioritizing whole foods, and we are beginning our detoxification. So everything works in conjunction, right? So these four pillars, that functional testing personalized protocol, the transformational thinking, the lifestyle medicine, the detoxification, they all have to work simultaneously. They need to move together. And so we've got some overlapping of these milestones. So within that month one, when we're starting our detoxification, the place you need to start there is opening your drainage pathways. That's the beginning of the detox process. We're replacing nutrient deficiencies so that our body has enough energy to detox, and we're opening drainage pathways while we're simultaneously reducing the incoming toxic exposure. So, what does that look like? We take a really good look at the makeup we use, the shampoo and conditioner, toothpaste, lotions, kitchen items that we cook with, ways that we store food, the air inside of our homes, if we have mold inside of our homes or work environment. We take a really good, solid look at everything that we are putting inside or around our bodies, because that is our external environment that quickly becomes our internal environment and contributes to that toxin bucket that I alluded to before. So we're continuing those daily threes, and we're also adding in some essential oils that are working for us in balancing our blood sugar. And when we finish month one, we know exactly what we should be eating. We know how to stabilize our blood sugar. We know what our blood sugar is doing. And automatically, not only have women lost weight, but they feel better because their moods are more stable, not realizing that so many of the symptoms they had experienced were really from an insulin dysregulation. You know, estrogen and progesterone get a bad rap. They get blamed on for a lot of things. But again, I want you to look deeper. I want you to go upstream and see the things that actually are the root cause for those sex hormones being dysregulated. Insulin is number one. So month one, we really, really focus on balancing that metabolic process. And what does this mean? Is that we restart metabolism. Women who haven't been able to lose weight finally balance their blood sugar. And guess what? Their metabolism is on fire again. They feel hungry. So many of my clients, they come to me and they say, I don't really even have an appetite. I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, I can eat. I don't have to eat. Doesn't really matter. And that is a sure sign of a sluggish metabolism. So by the end of month one, we have metabolisms that are roaring because we're giving our bodies the nutrition it needs. We're beginning to open detox pathways so that we can begin a whole body detoxification that's effective, but also so that we can stabilize that metabolic hormone of insulin, firing up that metabolism so that we can lose weight and begin to feel better. So that's month one. Month two looks like the focus is all on that stress hormone, cortisol. So we began to look at the body's natural diurnal rhythm. We see from your testing exactly what your body is doing morning, noon, and night, and how far off from the correct rhythm it is. And all that means is that your HPA axis is dysfunctional. Your HPA axis is that hormone feedback loop is not working the way that it should. It's definitely not working optimally. And so we need to reset that. So we do that with targeted nutraceuticals, supplements, and lifestyle habits. So here's the thing. When I show people this test in person, I like to use my hands and I circle this whole section of the test. And I say, this right here is 80% lifestyle and only 20% supplements. It's going to require us to do something different in order to get different results. And balancing the stress hormones, we can use targeted supplements. I love adaptogens. I love things that manage cortisol inside of our body. I love herbal things like licorice root tea. And there's all kinds of magnesium that we can use during certain times of the day or certain applications like spray on our feet or lotion on our calves before bed, or even take it as a supplement. throughout the day, etc. There is L-theanine, there's GABA. There are so many things that we have at our disposal. Depending on how severe your HPA axis needs to have that reboot, depending on how severe you are on that range from just in a resistance stage of stress all the way over to a burnout state, there's lots that we can do. But this really needs to be 80% lifestyle and 20% supplements. And in doing that, I realized that people are busy and people don't have the equivalent of a full time or even part time job to manage their health. So I know that these lifestyle habits need to be manageable and they need to be able to fit into our healthy lifestyle. So we do something that's a 30 ways in 30 days challenge. And what that means is that we choose the most potent things to incorporate into our morning routine and an evening routine that help us all the more reboot that HPA axis and reset that hormonal feedback loop so that everything is working properly. And this is really a fun part of the program because women begin to get more control over their life experience and realize that if they want to feel better, they can do things differently in order to feel the way that they want to feel. So we start incorporating all kinds of things that begin to shift in ways that are noticeable. And this part is all about consistency. This part is about habits. This part is not about your level of motivation or even your level of desire, but we stay consistent through it all because we know that that's how we're going to get results in our life. All the while, that pillar, number 4 of detoxification, is also being addressed on. So next we do a full gut and liver detox because we have to go deeper. After our drainage pathways are open, we need to then turn to our main detoxification organs to make sure that they're working properly and even optimally. So we boost mitochondrial function at the cellular level. We begin to clean up the gut. We begin to address energy production inside of our body. We help with kidney and liver support. And we also are addressing parasites during this phase because any comprehensive gut protocol must address parasites. We also are simultaneously continuing with the daily 3 and using essential oils that are specific to this phase that are helping us balance our stress hormones of cortisol morning, noon, and night. And we've got some really excellent resources for that. So in milestone month 1, we've got all this prep work, we've got all this assessment work, and we just are beginning that process of our change. And that needs to happen. That transformational thinking, that pillar number 2, needs to address like who we want to be. We need to really zero in on that future self. And we need to really, really get to know her so that we can know where we're headed. And this is where motivation fails us. If you've ever tried to start something new, or you all know what January 1st is like, you're going to do that new New Year's resolution plan. And by February 15th, you're like, well, not so much, right? We've all been there. Why does that happen to us? And I really am putting forth that the reason why that happens to us is because of our self image of ourselves and the mindset that we have in terms of who we want to become. And so when we encounter difficulty, we have challenge, we have low motivation, how do we actually get from here to there? This is the work that we do in defining our future self. So in that month 2, after we have her really, really clear in our mind, that milestone in month 2, we start to learn self-coaching tools to keep us on that path. We start to learn to use the thought ladder so that we can choose better thoughts in our lives. I love to tell my clients this analogy, and I use this on a daily basis for myself because there is not one circumstance in your life that you can't use the thought model for. The thought model is a way to help us to, like I said, love to say, think Gucci thoughts rather than Walmart thoughts. And it's a way to elevate yourself out of this low lying level of constant overwhelm and problems and feeling stuck in your lives. So, this milestone that we hit in month 2 is so powerful because we learn to self coach our way out of these situations in our life. We learn how to think new thoughts, which then generate new feelings and actions and results in our life. So, this is just absolutely fantastic. By month 2, we are already feeling like a new person. So, then in month 3, what's left? Well, there's a lot that we still work on. Now, in terms of pillar number 1, that functional testing and personalized protocol, that protocol gets really targeted specific to you in terms of dialing in your nutrition for your particular hormonal needs. Did you know that there is a way to eat for your hormones? Did you know that there is a way, if you put estrogen in charge of grocery shopping, it would buy different foods for you? And if you put progesterone in charge of your grocery shopping, it would buy different foods for you still. There are different ways that you can be eating throughout the month to boost your metabolism, to help burn fat, to keep your energy high, and to promote hormone balance. So in month 3, we really, really zero in on this. And this is really exciting. I like to use seed cycling. I like to use some bioidentical hormones if necessary, and all kinds of herbal supports here. In terms of the transformational thinking in our last month, this is all about elevating our self image by learning how to take care of ourselves in a way that makes us feel alive. You are in control of your life and your life experience. And I love to help women elevate the way that they view themselves, the way that they make decisions for themselves, so that they can do things that they feel aligned with, that they feel energized by, that they feel their most authentic self come alive with. And we really zero in on this. In month 3, we also complete what's called an approval detox. And this is a really fun part of the program where we begin to take a deeper look at the ways that we have set ourselves up in traps. And we have our self imposed glass ceilings and walls all around us to keep us comfortable and safe. But what I want for you is to bust through all of that and experience your next level. And in order for you to be able to do that, you have to elevate your own self image and you have to reduce the ways that you're seeking approval from others in your life. And this is a really fantastic thing that we do. So, in terms of lifestyle medicine, that pillar number 3, now we're also up leveling our daily lifestyle habits by beginning to build muscle. We females need muscle mass in order to be our best selves. In order to have any kind of shot at balancing our hormones, muscle mass is at the root of that. And it is said that muscle is our number one asset for healthy longevity. What does that mean? Is that it's scientifically proven that if you have a sufficient amount of muscle mass in your body, you have a likelihood to live longer and to live with less illness in your life. So that's quality and quantity as you age. And this all comes down to muscle mass. So I love to help women starting wherever they're at. Doesn't matter what your strength is coming into the program. If you're a power lifter, if you do CrossFit, if you are, the cardio queen, and I'll find you on the treadmill every single night, or the stair climber or something like that. Or if you like to do workouts in your living room, we can use body weight and a basic set of dumbbells to begin building some muscle mass, not only so that you can transform your frame and your body composition, but so that we can begin to balance your hormones because your hormones like muscle. Your metabolism likes muscle. So all of this works together there. And finally, in that pillar number 4 for that detoxification, we get really, really specific on the cellular level at detoxifying. We use certain binders that pull chemicals, heavy metals, other things out of the body in a cellular level. We work even harder at balancing our blood sugar through some specific glucose control herbs. And we begin to use things like enzymes and other probiotics and supports to fine tune our gut health so that we can have the best hormones that are balanced that we can. So, also, there's essential oils that go along with this month as well that are specific to female cycle issues and the mood swings that come from that, pain, etc., that I love to incorporate here. And so, we hit all of these milestones. I mean, we cover a lot of ground. I mean, you join the Balanced Hormone Solution. We're starting in Los Angeles, California. We're going to end up in New York City because we're going to cover a lot of ground. And by the time you get to that New York City, you are going to be a different person. And the thing is that in this program, it is all manageable. What we do, it looks like bi-weekly coaching calls. So we start on week 1, we have a coaching call that is 15 to 20 minutes of education. We do question and answer, and we have action steps for implementation. And that's where we get into the nitty-gritty of achieving these milestones, because all of this ground that we cover is broken up into manageable steps that you can take so that bit by bit, right? They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Bit by bit, you're driving from Los Angeles all the way up to New York City. And along the way, you have the accountability and the support that you need to make sure that you're staying on track and that you're actually getting there. So we have a Facebook group that is helpful too, and a private group chat within the software that we use where all of the education modules are available to you. And these educational modules, once you join the Balanced Hormone Solution, they're available to you indefinitely. And you'll get access to all of the handouts, the resources, the protocols, and any updates into the future. So that's really exciting. Plus, I love to offer a unlimited support during business hours via email or the chat for anybody in my program. And I like to have a high touch experience. So, meaning if you have a question, share it. I want to be providing the answers and the help that you need. So as you're holding my hand and I'm driving you or walking you across to New York City, actually what it is more so, it's like I'm your guide and I'm giving you the roadmap and all the tools you need to get there. And we are headed there together. We have the same destination in mind and we're going together. So you have the support that you need. And so you also have the support that you need when you say, hold up, bathroom break. We got to pull over and spend the night. I'm getting too tired. I can't drive anymore. We can readjust and we can tailor this up or down depending on if you need more or less. But the general framework, the general roadmap through the beautifully balanced method is there along the way. So these features really are what set this program apart, include and in addition to the method that I like to follow. So this is a journey, and women start at one place and they end up in another. And so I like to remind my clients that the healing journey is never linear. There's roads that you can follow from Los Angeles to New York City, but it's not exactly a straight shot, but you are heading in that direction. So, what it depends upon is your consistency that you wake up every morning, you get in the car, and you head towards New York City, leaving Los Angeles in your past, New York City in your future. And this is just means nothing. It's just two cities that I came up with right now, but it's just a way to describe like moving forward one step at a time. That's the kind of consistency that your body needs in order to truly balance out your hormones. So, does this mean when we're focusing on nutrition and balancing insulin that you can't ever eat pizza or birthday cake? Absolutely not. But it means that you can't treat every day like your birthday, right? Does this mean that you're never going to get stressed again? No, absolutely not. But now it means you have the tools in place so that when life throws you stress, you know how to handle it. Does this mean that you'll never have a hiccup in your period again? No, absolutely not. But do you have the foundation set for the best hormone balancing possible? That's what we're going for. So we're covering a lot of ground here because in order to go from that old you to that new you, it does require a whole new set of beliefs, a whole new set of thoughts, and a whole new set of actions. And so you can think of me as your guide, walking you from start to finish, from old to new. So this is the expected path in the balanced hormone solution. And it doesn't mean there aren't little rabbit trails that we don't take, or they're, in our coaching calls, we cover all kinds of things, especially in the questions and answer. So there is nothing that is off the table with me. And each woman has an individualized experience with their own bodies, with their own needs. So I love the group setting for that in particular, because in groups that I'm in, I benefit so much from listening to other people being coached. I didn't realize that I had that same question. I didn't even know to ask it, right? But yet the whole coaching process and the answer pertain to me. So that's really exciting. I love that group aspect for that. So, anyway, let's just wrap this up by saying this is a high level view of the beautifully balanced method. We have specific milestones in month 1, month 2, month 3, because I am on a mission to help you get to that new you. And this is the roadmap, the method to get you there. So if this sounds like something that is exciting to you, reach out to me. I'd love to have you in my next group. And until then, stay beautifully balanced, my friends. Thank you for joining me today on Tracy Aaron Talks. I hope you found today's episode enriching to your life. If you enjoyed today's content, would you consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review? That simple act helps this podcast get into the hands and ears of many more women just like you. Remember, anything you want and do not yet have will require a new set of beliefs, thoughts, actions, and a new you. I am honored to be on this journey with you as we wholeheartedly pursue true health and wellness in mind, body, and soul.